now the guys that we're really all in on this season, we're going to reveal the All-Bryce team and the All-Trip team. And these are the players that we targeted the most in drafts, and we were able to snag the most in drafts. And, throughout the year, you can hold us accountable really to these guys. All right. So I will reveal my team. At quarterback, it's Trevor Lawrence. I'm going back to the well. He was my guy last year. He let us down, but I think it's a big bounce back here. Let's not forget, he was a former number 1 pick. Let's not forget what he did 2 years ago. He's very talented, and he's got the weapons. And I think he's going to have a really nice season. So Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. At running back, it's Bijan Robinson and Kenneth Walker. Those are the 2 guys I'm leaning on, and I believe they'll have huge seasons. At wide receiver on the All-Bryce team, it's Nico Collins. He was there for me last year. I jumped in. I was on the bandwagon early, and he delivered. I think he delivers again. I'm not worried about Stephon Diggs. I think if anything, adding another weapon just allows Nico to run a little bit freely, not getting double teamed. So I think that'll be huge. Even with Tank Dell back, I think there's enough to go around, but I think Nico will lead the way in Houston. And then the other wide receiver, I went against one of my principles where I don't like the number 2 wide receiver on a team, but I think Devontae Smith has a monster season. With Kellen Moore taking over at offensive coordinator, I think the way that they will use Smith this season will give him an opportunity for more receptions, more touchdowns, and I think he's going to thrive. And then you mentioned him earlier. I'm all in on the tight end, Dalton Kincaid. Although I think Sam Laporta will be the best this year, I think Kincaid, especially where you draft him and where I drafted him, I traded for him. I love Dalton Kincaid. He's going to be the number 1 receiver, tight end, just most catches, yardage, touchdown for the Bills. And so that's going to deliver for us as fantasy managers. The number 1 weapon in that passing attack for the Bills will be Dalton Kincaid. And then my flex spot, I gotta go with the hometown guy, Deontay Johnson with the Panthers. I think especially where you draft them, I found, all right, here I am, 5th round, 6th round. Deontay Johnson. Let me take him again. So I'm excited to have him. He'll be the number 1 guy for the Panthers. And although the offense isn't going to be, lighting it up by any means here in Carolina, it will be better. And I think last year, Adam Thielen proved that a wide receiver can produce in the Panthers offense. And that was as bad as it gets. It'll be much better. And Deontay's going to be the number 1 guy with the Panthers. So there you go. There's the All-Bryce team this season. Now for the All-Trip team. Go ahead, Trip.
That team sounds really good to me, man. I admire your All-Bryce team there. I already talked about Kyler Murray, and so at quarterback, since you've already claimed Trevor Lawrence, I did draft him in my home league last night, and I feel great about that. But right there, 13, 14, 15 in ADP are Tua, Trevor, and Jared Goff. And if we think that the Lions are going to explode the way that I think that they are, and it seems like you think that they are, then I'm totally fine having Jared Goff as my starting quarterback. I have him in some of the just for fun best ball leagues that I did earlier this summer, and I still feel great about that. And I'll be targeting him in some of these drafts that I have in the next few days. Running back, I like to wait at running back. And so 3 running backs that I find myself with a lot are Ty Chandler, who I think will be the highest scoring running back in Minnesota this year. At the end of the year, I think we're going to say Aaron Jones, who Ty Chandler is the guy, and I think that he will be drafted as a top 24 running back next season. I believe in Ty Chandler. Rico Dowdle is going to be the starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys. I've been saying it all summer. I said it before all this kind of negative news about Zeke started to come out. I think that Rico Dowdle, much like Ty Chandler, is going to be a running back that you can start on a week-to-week basis from the very beginning of the season. And then if you're in a PPR league, this is PPR specific, but I think Jaleel McLaughlin is a guy that I'd like to at least have on my bench in PPR. If Sean Payton does what he likes to do, where he sort of turns these smaller running backs into effective sort of secondary wide receivers, I think that he could be a fun player to own. But those guys are because I am waiting at running back, because at wide receiver, I want Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like Deontay Johnson. When the 3rd round comes around in my drafts, I find myself looking at DJ and DK. DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, and I feel great about having either one of those guys as my second receiver. So I love both of those guys. And then a late pick at wide receiver that I find myself ending up with on a lot of my teams is Demario Douglas. I think Demario Douglas will catch the most passes of any Patriots receiver. The Patriots might just be terrible this year. You're smirking at a lot of my picks here, man, but just remember these picks, okay? I'm going to check back in. Demario Douglas, I think, is going to catch the most passes. And if the Patriots are even just moderately serviceable on offense, I think that'll be
a good way.
Yeah.
That's a good way to sum up Jacoby Brissett. Moderately serviceable.
I mean, yeah.
That's who they're rolling with.
Yeah.
If they ever put Drake May out there, maybe, but
the beginning of their schedule is brutal. So I don't want to have to depend on Demario as a starter for the first 4 weeks or so of the season. But I think that Drake May, I think their bye is week 6, and I think Drake May will start after that. And I feel pretty good about Demario Douglas as a PPR guy again. Now, you're laughing at me, you're smirking at me for all these picks, and I'm gonna make you laugh out loud. If I don't get one of those top 5 tight ends, I'm not drafting a tight end. And with my last pick in the draft, I'm taking Taysom Hill.
Yep, there it is.
You keep making fun of me about Taysom Hill, and this is if I'm punting on the position. I'm just going to put Taysom in there with the understanding that there are going to be weeks where I get 2 points out of him. And I hope I feel pretty good about the rest of my roster because I punted tight end. I think there will be weeks, multiple weeks, where Taysom Hill scores more than 20 points. He is going to be all over the Saints offense and running out of every position, out of it, sort of every formation. He'll play quarterback. He'll play tight end. He'll play fullback. He'll play goal line back, and again, the Saints might just be atrocious this year. They might be really, really bad. But if they're just serviceable, I feel okay about punting at tight end if I don't get one of those top guys and rolling with Taysom Hill. I know that I'm putting the credibility of your podcast here at stake,
this is
Bryce,
our podcast, so they'll remember. Remember, these
were my picks and not Bryce's picks.
That's the all-trip team. That's the all-laughable team.
I'm taking a screenshot right now, man. I'm going to check back in at like week 10 and see how I feel about these.
I'm with you on the Ty Chandler. Other than why didn't they just go with Ty Chandler? Why did they go out and get Aaron Jones? That's where there's some concern there. I think with Rico Dowdle, can he stay healthy? And it's just a little murky there. I mean, you got Zeke and Dalvin Cook. I don't think you really count on those guys. So I'm good with you on Rico there. Yeah, I don't want any Patriots players.
Who was the Vikings starting running back last year at the beginning of the season?
Alexander Madison.
It was Madison, and then it was Akers, and then it was Chandler, right? I mean, I think maybe
finally played well for them. Yeah,
I think the Vikings just feel like they are so snake bitten that it's so many injuries that mess them up every season that they're just like, we got to have a contingency plan at all of these positions, and so maybe you're just trying to deepen that position, and you saw an opportunity to get Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones' hamstrings are made of glass, and I'm happy to have Ty Chandler as like my 3rd running back on my roster, maybe my 4th running back, and you can get him much later than that.
Yes, so I will try to snag him tonight. Actually, I'd be interested in that for sure. All right, so there you go. There's the all-trip team. It's good. It's good. I like a couple of those guys. Not too bad. All right,
I appreciate you trying to dignify me here, man. But we'll see. Maybe I just proved that I'm a fool.
No, it's okay.
Around and look at this in a few weeks.
That's it. We'll have the evidence. The evidence will be coming up in weeks to come. So